Self-care isn't just about face masks and bubble baths, although those can be nice, but for me it's also about the small daily habits that help me to feel good about myself and take care of my body, my mind, my energy, things that I can do to help me build resilience and understand and take care of my needs. Today I want to talk to you about the 10 self-care habits that have helped me the most, and this is going to be a very real and candid conversation about the habits that I've incorporated into my life that help me the most when it comes to taking care of myself physically, mentally, and emotionally. I don't think that we need grand gestures and big actions to inspire positive change, especially when it comes to self-care. So I like to keep it simple and focus more on the consistency of these habits rather than the intensity of them, or like trying to do everything really perfectly. A little goes a long way, as I've often found to be true. And especially in today's world, it is so important to also just take some time for ourselves, focus on the little routines that make a difference for us, making sure that we are okay, even if we also feel a little discouraged or frustrated or worried sometimes. We can make some space and time to acknowledge these feelings while also prioritizing our well-being. So I hope this video also inspires you to take some time for yourself, focus on the habits and routines that help you feel the best that you can feel. And today's video is also kindly sponsored by my friends over at Wild, and I'll tell you more about them later. For now, feel free to grab yourself something nice to drink if you want, and let's talk about it. The first thing I want to talk about is physical activity. For me, moving my body, exercising, no matter how small and easy and quick, always helps. Physical activity isn't just about keeping your body fit, although of course that is also an important part of it, but it's also about taking care of your mind. So when I go for a walk or do some yoga or do a workout, I always feel better directly afterwards, even if it is a little difficult for me to motivate myself to get started. But I have a little trick with that, so I'll share that with you in a second. Moving our body releases endorphins, the feel-good neurotransmitters, and endorphins are really great because they very quickly help us to improve our mood, feel more positive, more cheerful, and relieve stress. Exercising can also help alleviate some depression and anxiety, improve our sleep and self-perception, and it's just a really good way to get out of our thoughts for a little while and focus on something else. What I also love about physical activity is that it gives me a sense of command over my body and my life. Like, it makes me feel just a little bit more in control of things, like I have the option to do this for myself, to feel just a little bit stronger and fitter and more resilient. The older I get, the stronger I feel that the mind and the body are not just connected, but they're basically the same thing. So what we do with our body has such a profound impact on how our mind functions and how happy we feel. So I just really try to make it a habit to incorporate at least some kind of physical movement, physical activity into my daily routine. For me, again, the key is focusing on consistency rather than the intensity, just keeping it really fun and easy to do. And when I inevitably fall off the wagon a little bit, which always happens occasionally, and I don't exercise for like a week or something, I don't beat myself up about it. I just make it a point to get started again with something really light and quick and easy to build up that momentum again. Now for my tip about what to do when you're feeling unmotivated. So I just kind of trick myself. Instead of thinking I need to do a workout, the only thing that I'm thinking about is I'm going to put on my workout clothing, and that's it. It's kind of silly because I know, of course, that I'm putting them on to work out, but I just don't think about that. All I'm doing is putting on my workout clothing, and I have some like nice outfits that look nice and feel comfortable, and as soon as I wear them, I start feeling like working out because the clothing that we wear does signal something to us. The hardest thing with doing a workout is getting yourself up off the couch and actually getting started, and by making that much easier, just by focusing on putting something on and putting down your yoga mat, you've already started. The hardest part is already done. So then you can just do the thing and it's done. The next thing is deciding on one thing that is important to you that day instead of being able to do 1,000 things. I have always been someone who sat down to write a to-do list for the day, and then I would write like 10 or 15 or 20 things down, and I felt like I had to do them all, which made me feel super stressed and hurried and tired, and I would kind of just try to rush through them. And of course there would always be a few that I didn't get to because my list wasn't realistic. But then I would just take those things and plop them down for the next day and write 10 or 15 more things, and the cycle would basically repeat itself. If we feel like we have 1,000 things to do, it just adds so much stress and hurry and pressure to our day. And it made me feel like I needed to rush through everything just to keep up. And it was very stressful. And then I realized that I actually don't have to do this. I am in control of my day. I can decide to either overcommit myself or not. And that has really changed how I plan my days and how I prioritize my tasks. Another downside of writing your to-do list with like 15 or 20 different things is that I tend to procrastinate on the things that take the most time or effort. And I focus on all the small things that I'm like easily taking off that I enjoy doing more. However, those smaller, more enjoyable things are oftentimes not the tasks that are the most important or the most urgent. And so by the end of the day, I will have that like bigger, more important task that I didn't get to because I've been prioritizing all the other things and I've been putting this one off. So instead now I try to focus on one thing that is the most important thing for me that day. Today it's filming this video. I prioritize it, I start with it, and then if I have time left, I can focus on like 1 to 5 smaller tasks, but only if I have time. And that way I will make sure that the most important thing actually gets done, and I won't feel so hurried and stressed. Yesterday, my most important task was scripting for this video, but then I also had some time to go grocery shopping and film a vlog for Patreon. I also did some smaller things like the laundry, tidying up the kitchen, answering some emails. So I had a very productive day, but I never felt stressed about it because it would have been fine if I had just gotten that one thing done, the most important thing. Next is a simple, effective, and enjoyable personal hygiene routine. I feel my best when I'm properly taking care of my personal hygiene, dental hygiene, skincare, all that stuff. But I've really learned that less is more sometimes, and that a simple routine fits me the best. So I always make sure I'm not skipping things like taking a shower, doing proper dental hygiene, taking care of my nails, my skincare, moisturizing my feet, all of that stuff. But I do them in a way where the routine is really quick and easy and simple and not doing too much. For example, I've been recently given some skincare products from a brand that has really like good high quality skincare products. Some like exfoliators, serums, eye masks, lip masks, scrubs, things like that. And while these were good products, I did find that adding them to my routine didn't actually do my skin any favors. For example, with the exfoliator and the cleanser, even though they were made to be okay for sensitive, dry skin, I found that they really dried out my skin a lot more than I was used to. And I found that I had to use then also the moisturizers and the serums and all the other stuff just to keep my skin feeling okay. And even with all of that, it still felt drier than usual. I had these like little red spots everywhere, and as soon as I stopped with all these extra products, those issues went away again. I think that having a self-care routine when it comes to physical hygiene, skin, hair, all that stuff, when it is very well suited to our lifestyle and our needs, can really enhance our well-being and self-perception. And it's not so much about the length of the routine or the amount of products or using these really like high-tech facial light, laser, or whatever products you have nowadays. If these work for you, by the way, absolutely keep doing them. This is just what I found for me to be true. But if I have a routine that is simple and it really fits me, I just feel so much better about myself. It makes a world of difference in how I feel on a day-to-day basis. And I have good news because I've partnered up again with Wild for this video, and I always get so much positive feedback from you whenever I work with them. And it's fun for me too because I'm a really big fan of their products. Wild wants to eliminate single-use plastics in everyday bathroom essentials with natural products that actually work. I've been using their deodorants exclusively for a really long time now, and I love that they are eco-conscious, vegan, cruelty-free, zero waste, made with natural ingredients, all things I find important. But most importantly, because they actually work. So I apply my deodorant once in the morning and I smell and feel fresh all day. And that is just a really nice feeling. So you get one reusable case and then you can click in these bamboo compostable refills. So no plastic, no waste, a really cool system. They feel really moisturizing and gentle on the skin. And they have no aluminum, parabens, or sulfates. And they have the most amazing scents. I always love their cherry blossom. This is a classic for me. And right now I'm using this limited edition Calm scent and I love it. It smells like a fresh cloud. By now, Wild has already saved more than 612 tons of single-use plastic from landfill. They also plant trees. They're just a really cool company. You all really liked Wild last time, so I'm happy to say that my discount is back. You can use my link in the description or scan the QR code right there and use my code SIMPLEHAPPY20 to get 20% off on all Wild products. The discount is only valid for a limited time though, so check them out when you can. Huge thank you to Wild for supporting the channel and helping me to smell clean and nice and fresh all day. And let's get back to the video. Number 4 is daily moments for quiet contemplation without stimuli. Another self-care habit that really helped me is taking time and making space for processing the day and feeling my feelings. The world is very fast-paced and we have so many ways of constantly distracting ourselves all the time if we want to, that it can be easy to forget the importance of having some quiet time for yourself. For me, this is about recharging and reconnecting, so it can be maybe going for a walk or sitting quietly on the couch with a cup of tea, just sitting with my thoughts and feelings. These little quiet moments of contemplation are absolutely vital for my well-being and my mental health. And they don't have to take long. Sometimes even 5 minutes really helps, or sometimes I'll tell my boyfriend, like I'll be just lying on the bed for 30 minutes by myself, just having some alone time. There was a time when I was more like trying to distract myself from feeling the negative feelings, but I found that it's actually so helpful to feel them, to actually make time for them and not suppress them or ignore them. And sometimes I even set a little timer to just sit with them for a little bit, and then I know that by the time the timer goes off, I can just pick myself back up again and go on with my day. We don't always have to feel happy and cheerful and optimistic. It's okay to feel like a wide array of emotions, and making time for them and actually experiencing them is just a way to navigate life with a bit more balance and authenticity. And I've also just found that constantly cramming all that noise and stuff into my head by, listening to podcasts or videos or music or things going on all day is not something that our brain is equipped to do. So even if you're having a really good day, just having some quiet moments here and there can still be very helpful to keep your energy up and not like mentally deplete yourself. And lastly, I love that these quiet moments often lead to feelings of gratitude for me, because it helps to find some perspective. You're seeing the bigger picture and you realize that you actually have so much to be grateful for. And gratitude is a huge source of positivity and happiness, and it is very durable, like a sustainable source of it. Number 5, go outside. The world often seems lighter when you have been out in the fresh air. I'll keep this shorter because I think we all know this one, but it can still be a little bit hard to do. For me, I always get a little bit of like seasonal affective disorder during this time of the year. At the end of winter, it's just been a really like dark and gloomy and rainy couple of months, but I still try to go outside when I can to get some daylight. Sunlight raises serotonin levels that can boost our mood and help us to feel a bit more calm, positive, and happy. Sunlight is also a source of vitamin D, which also plays a role in regulating our mood and decreasing signs of depression. And catching some sunlight during the day can also help our body to produce melatonin, which can help us to sleep better. So it goes both ways. Last weekend we had some sunshine and it really felt like the start of spring. My boyfriend and I went out for a long walk around a nature thing where we walked around for like 2.5 hours, and I really felt so re-energized, and life really did feel lighter after getting out in the sun a little. Number 6, finding mindful hobbies without a screen. So this is something that I can really feel like absorbed into and help clear my mind and feel less anxious. For me, reading fiction always has been and probably always will be my absolute favorite thing to do in this category. I always get so immersed in the story and I forget about everything else for a little while. It's wonderful for me for my self-care. For us, another thing that we've been doing is playing more board games and card games, and recently we've been playing Magic the Gathering a lot, and it's been so fun to just sit at the table, no screen, put on some music, light some candles, grab some tea, maybe a snack or something, and then just play a game together. And oftentimes before we know it, like 2 or 3 hours have gone by, and I just haven't thought about anything else because it's been so fun. Another thing I love to do is drawing on my iPad, which technically is a screen, so kind of cheating here. But for me, just engaging in a creative hobby is also really fun and kind of calming and meditating. You could even do like a coloring book for adults. Those are really fun too. And lastly, in this category, another activity that I really enjoy is cooking. Just getting really absorbed into trying a new recipe and doing all the chopping and all the tastes and the smells. It's just really fun. And of course, cooking a healthy, simple meal for yourself is also just a really good way to take care of yourself physically. I've been learning to make focaccia recently. It's been super fun, and I'm now going to try my hand at baking Dutch oven bread, so wish me luck. You could also try crafting, gardening, just any kind of hobby that doesn't have a screen and where you can really get absorbed into every once in a while. Number 7, sleep, sleep, sleep. This is one that probably we all know, but so many people are not getting enough sleep. I know for me that I definitely need my 8 hours, but if I really want to feel my best, I actually need 9 hours of sleep. So I will sometimes catch up on some extra sleep when I can in the weekends. And I just find that everything looks so much better in the morning after having gotten a good night's sleep. It is a huge, huge difference. In fact, I kind of have a little rule for myself that I don't have to like think deeply about things or worry about things or make any kind of like life decision or something in the evenings when I'm just feeling tired and gloomy. Because oftentimes if I just do some nice things for myself and then go to bed on time, if I wake up the next morning, the problem will, I don't know, be gone or seem much more manageable, and I can deal with it then. On the other hand, I've also kind of always felt that sleeping more is a waste of time. Like I would rather wake up earlier so that I have more time to do things during the day. But here I also like to apply the minimalist rule of quality over quantity here, that I would rather have a little bit less time available but feel well rested than have more time available but feel really tired and gloomy. Normally I fall asleep quite easily, but I do have periods of mild insomnia now and then. So during those times I always try to catch up on some extra sleep in the weekends or take a little nap in the afternoon if I need it. And the difference that this makes to my physical and mental well-being is huge. If you feel like you could benefit from having more sleep, then feel free to do whatever you can to try and make that happen. And also feel free to steal my idea of not having to worry about things too much when you're feeling tired, because the world will seem much sunnier tomorrow morning after you've had a good night's sleep. Number 8, your environment has a strong impact on how you feel. If my home is stuffy or cluttered, or I really need to vacuum or clean or something, I feel like that can have that effect on my mental state as well. And sometimes I find that the act of physically cleaning or tidying up my space can have that same effect on my mind. And it's funny because I never really enjoyed cleaning before. I've always seen it as this kind of like necessary evil that I had to do because I do want to live in a clean home. But lately I'm finding more and more that cleaning and tidying and decluttering are all also a form of self-care and actually really essential for me to do. For example, something that really helps me to shift my mental state is cleaning the toilet. I know it's weird, but taking something like a toilet and cleaning it and making it all like shiny and fresh and clean is really satisfying. It's relatively low effort, it doesn't take hours, and it is immediate result, and it just makes me feel like something has shifted in my mental state as well. I also find that if I take care of my physical environment, I'm having a more relaxing time when I actually take some downtime, because my house is in order, there's nothing screaming at me that it needs to be cleaned or tidied or something, and I can just relax on the couch with a book or I don't know, doing something, doing my nails or whatever, without feeling like, yeah, there's all this stuff demanding my attention. So sometimes, especially when I'm feeling a little frustrated or I have this pent up energy of nervousness or something, I clean. I clean the kitchen and the fridge, or I clean the bathroom, or I do a really good like vacuuming and mopping session. And it's nice, it gets me out of my head a little, I'm moving my body a bit, and by the end of it, It's cleaner, so it's satisfying, and it really helps my mental state too. I just feel a little proud of myself and in control a bit more, and it's just a nice feeling. Number 9 is being mindful of the effects of what I'm putting into my body. Maybe this also has to do with getting older. I'll be turning 37 soon, and I just notice more and more that the things I put in my body have a strong effect on how I'm feeling, both physically and mentally. So I try to pay attention to that. Of course, what these things are can be different for every person. One example for me is that I kind of stopped drinking alcohol. I already wasn't a big drinker, but for the last 6 months or something like that, I haven't had any drinks, and I feel really good about this decision. I'm not saying I'll never drink again, but I do think that it will only be on the rare exception. I just found that drinking alcohol, even just one glass, just always really changes how I feel when I wake up the next day. Sometimes I feel a little like tired and queasy and dizzy, and I'm less motivated to work out or eat healthy or do anything fun and active. So I always just think that that's not really worth it anymore. And another thing I've noticed is that alcohol tends to worsen my anxiety the next day. So the things that I tend to worry about get louder the next day. Recently, I saw a friend who was really hungover from the night before, and it was kind of funny to me to see them looking all queasy, and I was happy to think like, yeah, I don't have to feel like that anymore. Another example for me is caffeine and sugar. These are not things that I avoid altogether, but I do try to be careful with them, and especially not combine them together. So having like a piece of really sweet cake or something with a cup of coffee for me is really not a good combination. Once you simplify and kind of turn down the volume of life a little bit, I notice that my body is giving me very clear signs about what it does and doesn't like, and what helps me feel good and what kind of makes me feel bad. And I try to listen to these signals. And of course, we don't have to be perfect with this, but at least we can kind of moderate and choose when we think it's worth it and when we don't want these effects. Number 10, avoiding bore out. I feel like it's easy for life to feel repetitive sometimes between everything that we have going on with work and responsibilities and cleaning and all the things. It's easy to feel like you're getting into a slump and start to feel uninspired, and this can lead to something called bore out. My neighbors are drilling in the walls again. We all know burnout when you just feel really exhausted and depleted, and many of the tips I've shared up until now are, for me anyway, to prevent burnout. But there's also something called bore out, and that is when you feel uninspired, unmotivated, under-challenged, under-stimulated, and that can also lead to feeling really tired, gloomy, etc. For me, getting dressed and going outside and doing something new does two things. First, the getting dressed part just really puts me into a more active and cheerful mindset, because it reminds me that life can also just be fun and it's worth me taking time and effort to show up for it. Second, going outside and doing something new or going somewhere new is just really necessary sometimes, whether it is going to nature and feeling invigorated, or going to a new restaurant, a new city, a museum. I love going to a farmer's market or like a casual day trip. Sometimes it's less important what it actually is, but it's already good that it is new. So I try not to be too picky about the activity. If I can't find something that really sparks my interest, I just kind of do something anyway, because just doing something new is already valid by itself. So for me, I try to prevent bore out and feeling like everything is really repetitive and getting into a rut or in a slump by doing new things and finding new places to experience. And I'm very curious, have you ever heard of bore out before? Because I feel like burnout is something that we all know, even if the definition of burnout can sometimes change, and certain people experience burnout a certain way, others may experience it a different way. I have an experience with burnout myself, as some of you may know, but I feel like bore out is also a really real thing, and it gets talked about less. So I'm curious if you recognize it. And of course, let me know how you feel about the 10 things that I've talked about in this video. These are the most helpful for me to really take care of myself, and I'm curious to see what you all do to feel good mentally, physically, and emotionally. So share that in the comments if you are open to doing that. Don't forget to check out Wild and try their natural deodorant with a discount. They also have body washes, soaps, lip balm. It's all zero waste, it's all natural, and I use all the products. These products are all great. So link and info in the description box. And if you enjoy my videos and you would like to see more of them, then consider joining us on Patreon. I post 2 extra exclusive videos a month over there. They're about all kinds of different things. Now I'm filming a vlog for Patreon, and I will be posting a book update video soon. So lots of fun things, also about minimalism and tea time chats. So we have a lot of fun over there, and I think there are something like 124 videos up on Patreon so far, because I've been posting 2 videos a month for a really long time over there. So you have a lot to catch up on. You'll get access to all of that as soon as you sign up. And it's also a great way to support my work, support the channel. So you can go to patreon.com/simplehappyzen if you want to. I will also leave the link in the description box. And whether you're watching my videos on Patreon or just on YouTube, I really want to thank you for all of your support and encouragement and all the good vibes. I love this community and I really appreciate you, so thank you. As always, questions, comments, conversations down below. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, and I will see you all again really soon. Bye-bye. The first signs of spring are here, and they make me so happy. We have all these little spring flowers. Today the temperature is going to go up to 8 degrees Celsius, which is great, and it's kind of sunny outside, so I feel like I'm thriving. I am ready for spring.